What up, fam? I'm gonna go on a bit of a ramble here. The gold in my eyes. So, what I'm transpiring to you right now is going to impact your consciousness, and I have a moral obligation, to make sure that I'm not putting any blood on my hands, metaphorically speaking. And what I mean by that is I'm taking ownership for how I'm influencing you. And as I influence the individual, as we influence the individual, so too we influence the collective. So we walk the line of trying to make people aware of things, and sometimes when it's negative, that energy can manifest more negativity. At first, I was all about making people aware of all of the different agendas that were going on. I still am. I'm just doing it in a different way. It's not always what you do, it's how you do it. So, sometimes coming out and blatantly saying, there's a depopulation agenda. Yeah, it's true. The weather is being manipulated. It's being engineered. Arizona is in a drought, right? We haven't had a good rain in 2 years, and there's fire season approaching, and we've seen it happen again and again and again. Facts. Well, we also know that rain dances are scientifically, provably true. You can repeat the experiment over and over again, and you'll find, and they found, that rain dances are in fact true. Ancient knowledge, right? So it's the idea of the self-fulfilling prophecy. What prophecy do you want to fulfill? Are there different timelines? Are you able to individually go on your highest timeline while others live out theirs? Because in some respects, that's what's happening. We're seeing guys, like I did that podcast today with Trevor Lawrence, just got drafted #1 for the NFL, straight out of Clemson. Just signed a huge deal, I'm sure, with a whole bunch of different endorsements. Okay, guy's living his best life. He's focused. He's got from as far as I can tell, he has his mind in the right place. He's living in the present moment, not getting too far ahead of himself, and he's really humble. It's really nice to see. Now, is he aware of all the agendas? Probably not, right? But he's still living in the same world as you and me and the rest of the collective. So we can draw some parallels there, that even though somebody may not be aware of certain things, they can still be living their best life. So there's some of us that are trying to make this world a better place directly by getting rid of these agendas. And talking about them is a bit of a shit show. For the reason I said, it's a self-perpetuating cycle. You know, bringing light to them is important so we can dissipate them. Just like you bring a candle into a dark room and it dissipates the darkness. And that would be the idea, the metaphor for being a light worker, right? And I think a lot of the dark night of the soul for people stems from finding out that information. It's like, because a lot of us, speaking personally, like I've always fucking loved nature, animals, and I know that a lot of people do, right? Wow, isn't it fucking weird that there would be an agenda that's literally decimating the ocean life, forest life? Wow, isn't that crazy? It's important to come back to the cycle of life, because we've been so programmed to think that death is the end of the transmission, that's it. But when you look into death, or when you look at death as a transition, a transformation, you're not feeling so down. Your energy changes. Because I look at it as, okay, if I'm gonna die, because I don't know when that could be, I want to make sure that I'm at the proper vibratory rate. My energy is in the right state, so that when that metaphysical transition happens, I'll be birthed into a reality that matches that. And so this is why it's so important to come back to the present moment at all times. Practice things like the pause, instead of getting so caught up in some gossip or drama with the baby mama, baby daddy, with your mama or your daddy, sister, brother, any other. Whatever it is, circumstances, people, places, or things in our life, we want to make sure that we're the ones that are in control. And it goes the same thing with, what are you working for? What's the motivation in your life? Are you working to please others, or are you setting the intention to be the best version of yourself? Because if you're competing to be the best and you just want to beat everybody else, then you're always competing against somebody else. But if you're just doing it to be the best version of yourself, and then you happen to be the best, or you're almost the best, you just keep working. Or no matter where you are, it's all about setting the bar for yourself, where you want to be, what you want to achieve, and put your mind to it and manifest that. So, both sides of the spectrum there. And when it comes to the nature side of things, when we look at the transition, like a whole forest burns down after being geoengineered, chemtrailed out, the alumina fallout, it's a fire accelerant. Wow, so devastating, it really is. But at the same time, in this amazing reality that is also going to be, just as it was fuel for the fire, now it's going to be fuel for new plants, new growth. And in this magical realm, which it is, we're also going to be experiencing new animals, new types of beings. And when we look at the sky and we look at the stars and the moon and realize that Astro Theology is very real, look at your natal chart, look at where the stars were positioned when you were born, look at things like geomancy and ley lines, energy grids. Just like there's the fake matrix, the 3D matrix that keeps people's mind in a trap, and you have to think outside of the box, there's a natural organic matrixy as well that a lot of people are tapping into. And I think this is hand in hand with the apocalypse, the revelation, the dropping of the veil. And now we're starting to be aware of this cosmic consciousness puzzle. We're tapped into, a lot of people say we're tapped into source. You're aware. Your awareness is coming, and now you're in a state of knowing, or gnosis, where your intuition and everything is in check. And this is where the mind, body, and spirit, that pyramid, when all of these things are in unison, that's when we're able to, better utilize our highest potential, our body being the temple. And when we take care of our body, our temple, and we take care of our gut, which is, it's a process. Everything's a process. It's a learning process. It's about doing a little bit better every day, breaking the old habits and building the new. Because the sky clock, talking about Astro Theology as well, as above, so below, hey, it moves slow. And it's okay for us to move slow as well. And realizing that part of the learning process is having setbacks, is having fallbacks, and at the same time realizing that we don't want to fall into this negative guilt trap emotion, because then that's our energy and motion is just stagnant. We want to be focused on growing, and when we take that growth mindset and apply it to even our setbacks, then it's like, wow, all right, okay, yeah, I did fuck up, but hey, it's part of the learning process. It's now transmuting the negative emotion into a positive one, right? It's a beautiful thing. Whew. Sun is so far west, going so much further north now. Can't really see it. Right now we're in between the two major solar eclipses over top of the USA, which is kind of like the X marks the spot. We had that huge, we had the powerful solar eclipse in 2017, which I watched from up in the Pacific Northwest, British Columbia. I was on Vancouver Island. It was fucking magical. And the next one is going to be in 2026. And where these two cross, and you're looking at it from a bird's eye view from a map, it's right over top of the United States. And we just had this lunar eclipse that falls directly in the middle of it. And that ties into the Toltec prophecy, the idea of that being the dawn of the sixth sun, new energy, new frequency. And so when we're seeing all of this transition time right now, the death of a lot of things, the death of old structures, and the death of a lot of species, people, like all of this stuff is happening right now, and it's going to continue to happen. So we have to be mentally prepared for it, so that when it does hit, we're not feeling the shit. We're seeing it from more of a state of neutrality, higher up, right? Because if we're in the mud, we're going to be moving slow. Boom, boom, boom. It's like when I've had dreams before, I've had, you know, they're fucking nightmares. I've had some fucking nightmares, right? It's gone from a beautiful thing to a nightmare. And when it's a beautiful thing and I'm running through the six with my woes, like I'm running through the trees, I'm jumping over fences, we're having a fucking blast. I'm literally jumping 30, 40 feet in the air. Woo! Landing, having fun, we're all running, screaming. Then I come out and I'm in like a space. I go from like nature into a cityscape, like Spain or something, cobblestone streets, and you look out and there's a volcano and there's this sky, booming, thunderstorms, lightning, and then I see that rolling in, and then I see these huge planes coming in, and they're just crop dusting with huge black clouds, and it's now they say that. Let's see if you can see that with this front-facing camera. Yeah, little barium release there. So these huge clouds these huge planes come over, they're just dropping straight black soot, basically, like chemical black soot trails. And now I'm moving slow as fuck. I'm in the density, no matter how, I'm trying hard, but my vibratory, my energy, my emotion is so dense, it's so slow, it's in a state of fear. And that's what we're seeing today with so many people in this lower vibratory state. And it plays out through the people, places, and things being the fluoride in the water, the weaponization of the marijuana, the glyphosate in the foods. It's literally fucking up our temples. And when people become aware of this, then they can make the transition to higher vibrational foods, proper food combinations, so that we can become the alchemists of our temple, of our beaker. That's mostly comprised of water. And then we start putting in the right minerals, the right mixes at the right times. And it starts on that individual level. And then are you just leveling up? Are you just becoming higher vibration? And then the people who are still in a lower vibration are just going about their life on a different timeline. Seems to be that way, right? So that's why we focus on what we can do. We can't control other people, but what happens is that when we take those steps, we end up being an example for other people, and it's a ripple effect. That you are the drop in the water, and the ripples go out, and then that energy impacts other people. And you can look at it like, oh, this is part of the reason why they want social distancing. They want your auric field to stay away from other people, because if you're like a positive, powerful being and you're going to just go energetically shed on other people, they're going to get those qubits from your quantum field and feel empowered. They're going to fucking want to send it. They're going to want to keep doing the best, right? Shit, I thought my phone was on airplane mode and I'm getting notifications. So that's why it's important to positively impact other people with our words. If you're an artist, put good intention, good lyrics, because words cast spells, and we are all magicians. And just like we watch the dark occultists manipulate words for their magic spells, we too can do the exact same thing with our mantras, right? When we go out into nature and we're naturally attracted to these beautiful zones, you want to go to a beautiful waterfall, you know, like, or go to Yosemite, step off the plane in Hawaii, tell me you don't feel the energy. Go to Costa Rica, tell me that's not different. Argentina, you know, go to an ancient zone in China, sneak into the pyramids, tell me that's not powerful as fuck. I'm here on the 33rd degree latitude, and geographically speaking, the occultists, occult just meaning hidden, who created the ley line, latitude, longitudes, and the numbers, knew exactly what the 33rd latitude meant. They put it there for a reason. 33 is the highest degree of Freemasonry. So that you can see how these numbers, numerology, corresponds. So you can look at Astro Theology, numerology, geomancy, and start utilizing all of these things with your intention, or continue to, because a lot of us are already doing it subconsciously. We just do it naturally. You don't even need to know about all of these things. You just do it naturally. It's your intuition. And if you're still rocking with me right now, right here, listening to me, then it's already resonated with you. You know, tapping into the Schumann resonance with our feet, right? Giving that Gaia frequency, those negative ions. Because we're so impacted by the artificial frequencies. They're all over. And these, like, look at the research Jose Delgado did with the matador and the bull, being able to stop a charging bull going at a matador using an inorganic frequency like a remote control to send an impulse to the bull's brain and make it stop. Whoa. Now that was back in like the 50s, 60s, and they did a lot of that research over in Yale, you know, Skull and Bone Society type shit. But that's come so fucking far. Look at what they're doing now with the brain mesh, brain chips, right? This is the artificial comparison to, this is the transhumanism agenda, which is the artificial counterpart to the natural ascension program, the natural ascension process that the humans are going through right now. Just like at a certain full moon, at a time of the year, the Great Barrier Reef blooms, or there's the harvest full moon, and farmers know when to take their corn crops off. This is the same thing for human consciousness right now. You tie in these astrotheological aspects, the as above, so below, with these great eclipses, and it's going to impact all living beings. because it's the energetic exchange. It's the sex, it's the sacred energy exchange. And everything is conscious. There's an aspect of consciousness in everything. Rocks, even, right? And this is why I encourage people to, when you go out on a hike or you're going out into nature or anywhere, take an extra gallon of water and go and give some water to some of the trees on the hike, to a cactus or something like that. Because, you know, my mom said that when you pass over and you go to the other side, these are the first spirits that meet you. Hey, whether or not you want to believe that, or you just want to think that you're providing some sustenance for a living being that's going to, you know, like throw a mango peel out and there's going to be bugs that eat that mango peel, and then bats will eat the bugs and that life cycle will continue on, type shit. That could be in the 3D, and then what I explained prior would be more of a higher consciousness, metaphysical aspect of things. So fucking A. Let me know your thoughts. There's lots to talk about, and I'm always open to hearing other people's ideas, and gives me ideas and things to talk about, and maybe just share my perspective, because it's all about this evolution, right? And a lot of that stuff that we're taught in school when it comes to evolution, you can look at it from a metaphysical side of things, you know? Like, instead of the strong will survive, you can look at it as the smart will survive, right? Are those who are aware, basically. So that's why just being aware of all of these different things. There's so many fucking levels to this shit, obviously. So thanks for coming on this ride with me, sharing this, you know, call it the egregore. You know, if you don't know what that is, that's the concept of a thought form, and people adding energy into the thought form. So we're, you know, call it the New Earth egregore, you know, and we got the Dream Training Academy coming up right now. It's the beginning of June, and we're gonna have our first Dream Training Academy session at the end of this month or early in July, and that's using the yin, the in, to visualize through the mind's eye the things that we want to see. Also do some subconscious clearing and deprogramming and then reprogramming, because a lot of the stuff that we have been inundated with since we were young is full of subliminal messages. We want to clear the bullshit and reprogram it with our own intentions. The subconscious is like the super quantum computer that doesn't filter anything. And then the conscious mind is what we're actually aware of, is what we're focusing on. And it's already been filtered through the subconscious mind. That's why it's important for us to have a clear tethering cord, you know, a lightning speed transmission. And then eventually just so amalgamated, it's all one. You know what I'm saying? So fucking A. Got these bullshit blue lights on. I take that as my cue to get the fuck out of here. So I'm gone. Much love to you all. High vibrations and fucking good energy, you know? All the blessings, manifestation power to you, to us, as we create the reality that we know it should be. Abundance for all, good grace to all living beings, past, present, future. and in the eternal now. Chee. 25, ended at 25:05. Bang, bang.